And the members that we have are just, when they get it and they get involved with it, they're like, I'm MBG. Literally, they say, I'm MBG, not, I'm so-and-so who trains at Monkey Bar. They're like, I'm MBG, I'm there.
Here are some questions. How can people improve their strength and conditioning, increase range of motion, and reduce the likelihood of injury from the comfort of their own home? How do we help people heal aches and pains, gain balance, and feel healthier and happier? How can physical movement, eating plant-based, and integrating our base alignment training program help you be of service to people and planet? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. Meet your coaches, Jon and Jessica Hinds, and welcome to Monkey Bar Gym.
Monkey Bar Gym is all about people connecting with movement and doing things as simplistic as possible in terms of learning how to run, jump, crawl, climb, react, throw, catch, different things like that on a basic level. And everybody has misalignments within all of those movements that prevent them from doing them fully. People can't squat fully, they can't do push-ups, pull-ups, or they can't run well because their back is rounded, they can't squat well because their knees knock. And every single one of those positions, people have limitations. These limitations come mentally, physically, spiritually. But the practice of moving to gain full range of motion in a static plane first, and then progress it to movement through a full range, and then add speed or challenge via resistance to those same movements, is what builds functional strength. When a person builds that functional strength mentally, physically, and spiritually, then they are far more confident, they perform at a high level, and they are way less likely to have aches and pains and injuries. So on that realm, that is what we've been about since day one. The second part is that we try to get people to do what's intrinsic in all of us, and that's to be of service to people and planet. But before you can do that for others, you got to be able to serve yourself. You have to be able to move well yourself. You have to learn how to take care of yourself through proper food, through breathing properly. And once you get the gist of that, then you can help other people do the same. And that progression, we call it I before we before all, because you got to help yourself, I. And once you've done that and you've got the basics of that, then you can do what we intrinsically want to do, which is help others. So you can help others learn how to move and eat and align and balance and breathe better. And then doing so, we develop people that are more conscious for the planet as well. And then you really are living the I before we before all. And when you are living for others and all, you are really being of service to people and planet. And we believe that is really what we are all here for. So we don't just do it with physical movement, we do it by eating plant-based, we do it by integrating our base alignment training into it. So it's a whole plate of things that benefit you towards your health and being happier as well.
Yeah, and it is basically about being on that journey of you. So as you hear Johnny talking about, we're going to start off with the static, then we're going to go into full range of motion, and then we're going to add a challenge to it. All of this stuff takes time, and we understand that. We are so patient with our members. We're patient with ourselves because we constantly evolve. That's the point. We don't want to get to a situation where we're just static, because that doesn't have creativity to it. That doesn't spark anything. So we teach our members how to be patient with their evolution through all of this stuff. And the members that we have are just, when they get it and they get involved with it, they're like, I'm MBG. Literally, they say, I'm MBG, not, I'm so-and-so who trains at Monkey Bar. They're like, I'm MBG, I'm there. And when we get people who say that, we know that they're in there for the long haul. They're wanting to change things. And that I before we before all is that evolution. They start off getting it themselves. And then they're like, hey, let me help so-and-so. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, those two are like, let me just help a whole bunch of people. Yeah. So it is ultimately about changing the way the world looks at health and fitness, which is something Johnny has said for what, 25 years,
yeah.
You know.
I just grew up doing only functional movements. I learned how to use the body. I learned how to then resist movements with resistance tubing, running, jumping, crawling, and climbing, reacting. I learned all those things with body weight and then resistance tubing. And those are completely different because performance-wise, those are essential first things to learn. Then I learned how to apply those different movements with weight training. And all of these different tools serve and benefit. Body weight can be the best in some. Kettlebells or dumbbells or barbells or resistance tubing, all are awesome tools, but it comes back to getting the proper movement patterns and developing the skills, which most of the time people lack the range of motion to do those skills properly. And that's all we've been focused on since day one. And that's why when someone trains with us, their ability to adapt to any situation and do really well at it is incredibly high. Our rate of injury or incident where they have aches and pains is incredibly low, where we get incredibly high levels of performance. We've never been about building a bodybuilder's type build. We are about building performance, mindset, physical, mental, physical, spiritual, developing a performance mindset where the body is balanced as best as possible so that we have the least likelihood of aches and pains and that we perform at our highest. And for all people and trainers out there, the first thing is do no harm. We want to create people that are healthy and happy and balanced and pain-free, and then develop them to a higher level of performance. And I think in the fitness world today, a lot of people are very focused on putting up numbers and constantly increasing numbers despite higher possibilities of injury. And that to me isn't logical. When I worked in the NBA, the last thing you want to do as a trainer is injure an athlete. And so why is it different with regular non-professional athletes? It shouldn't be. Nobody wants to be in pain. So how do we go about that? We teach them the basics, teach them full range of motion, and then teach them how to move in and out of that full range of motion. And when we get that, you create more balance and you're far less likely to have aches and pains.
I also think, Johnny touched on it a little bit, but when you kind of ask, what makes us so different, and I have to go back and kind of toot Johnny's horn a little bit for him, is, he's been in the fitness industry for, 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And he's also invented a lot of products that are used on the market today. So this person is using himself, his body and everything as a laboratory to figure out really what works. And when you have a person who does that, and there are plenty of people out there that do this, they experience the movement and they decide, hey, look, this works, this doesn't, and let me teach everybody else how to do that. That's just his MO. That's just what we do. And as a team, being pulled along with him, we work at this works, this doesn't work. Okay, this is the good thing to do. Let's teach people how to do that. And it's constantly about refining the movement, refining the technique, getting the full range of motion, getting people to create space in their bodies. It's just looking at it from that view, I think, is what makes us so different. The other part is that we really do freaking care. So like when somebody comes in, it's like, we really care. Like if so-and-so isn't getting this movement, let's take a minute, and figure out why this is not working for this person, whether it's during a Zoom class, a live Zoom class, whether it's when, they ask us, on a comment section, just, hey, look, this isn't working for me. I need to know. And we individualize. We don't care, how long it takes. It's like, hey, wait a minute, this person needs help with this. Let's stop, because we know if we help this person with this, somebody else on that screen probably has the same experience. They just never said anything.
And then there's one, the base that we teach, our base alignment training, completely evolved because we saw a need for people to have a common ground between strength training and then there's yoga or Pilates, and generally one didn't do the other one, or they didn't like to do it, and the yogis or Pilates people didn't like to do strength training. But there is a merging of the two with our base training, because in our base training, the goal is full range of motion for Pilates yogi people, okay? And when you're doing strength training, you can apply those same rules, but done with load, done with speed, it's dangerous because the body will fall to its normal adaptation patterns, which oftentimes are rounding the back, collapsing the knees, things like that, which result, when you load them improperly, injury or aches and pains. We've been plant-based since day one. Plant-based is 80 to 90% or more plants. 10 to 20% can be animal processed foods. And we've been promoting that since day one because it allows a person to get the highest amount of nutrients intake. But we also are realistic in that we're not trying to say you can't have this or that. And that's a big difference in a lot of approaches. People are fixed on specific diet patterns where you can only have, you can't have this, you can have that. And I believe, and I would think Jesse would agree with me, is that anytime you say you can't have something, a person's gonna try and get it almost. And so we like to have guidelines. And plant-based has been a very simple way for people to eat in a very healthy manner since day one. And that's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is the hand plan, which is a very simplistic way to eat and guide people. It's not to say that we don't also coach people on calorie intake as well, because some people, especially today, people are more interested in the micro versions of things. Like calorie counting is more of a micro version of it, and a macro version of it would be follow the hand plan. We teach people how to do both versions in a plant-based manner so that they get optimal health. And we also integrated fasting into it to teach people how to do the various forms of fasting, and specifically for people at different ages and body types and stuff like that. So there's many different fasts, there's many different ways to eat plant-based, and we have a lot of experience with coaching people on how to do that. monkeybargym.com, one, and then we have programs and we have membership. So the programs can be more specifically tailored to what a person wants. You want to do kettlebells, we have a kettlebell program. You want minimal amount of equipment, you want to work out maybe outside in a park, do our body weight programs, one of them. We have then a mixture of programs that have kettlebells and body weight. You want the whole gamut, that's our body mastery challenge. And that's going to take you through a lot of base, which is the primary focus. It's going to have a nutrition plan, body weight training, kettlebell training, breath work. It's a full gamut. Learn how to train, learn how to eat, learn how to breathe, and really learn how to get your mind, body, spirit in a more positive position, because the amount of feedback that Jesse and I are giving via each class and the experts that we brought in, really, I mean, we even brought in life coaches. So that we brought a bunch of experts in to help people. It's not just about getting biceps, it's about getting balanced and feeling healthier and happier. And so we look at the Body Mastery Challenge as that specific program. Beyond the specific programs, then we have a membership that includes daily workouts and then also base training, which we have 6 days a week. And you can do either the live or the recorded classes. Now, this is what a vast majority of our people do, is they come to the live classes, they can read them, they can watch the video on how to do them, they can participate in the live class or do the recorded class. And this is where the Monkey Bar Gym people, most of them go there, but a whole bunch also do our specific programs. But for all of them, we have our MBG community where people can comment, they can ask questions, they can say things to inspire other people as well, all in this community. And Jesse and I are on there every single day, answering and coaching people to the next level, and then also just giving words of wisdom to people on how they're training, because we want you to post how you're tracking your workouts so that we can utilize our experience to say, okay, now it's time for you to go here. Now let's back it off here. Let's focus more on this, specific to each person's needs. So that's a very unique thing online for people. I mean, we give feedback in classes, but we also give a lot of feedback and coaching via our comment section. And so for somebody coming online, you can find a specific program, or you can find more general overall program with our membership, and we're going to give you feedback either way.